Okay, morning there, everyone. How's everyone doing? You guys all hear me okay? Hello. Okay. All right, so we'll have a pretty quick class today. There's not like new information I'm giving you guys this week. I just want to give you a few tips and ideas on project 3 that is due next week and all that stuff. Just remember to get your thumbnails submitted to the discussion by the afternoon today. I'm pretty much just going to be working on giving you guys critiques and feedback on those thumbnail sketches later today and tomorrow. So just kind of keep your eyes peeled on that. Just to see my feedback and my suggestions on that before you move on to the next step of the project. But yeah, so that's it for today. Is there any general questions on project 3 or the thumbnails for the discussion or anything like that before we get started today? Okay. Well, yeah, if any questions come up, let me know. Just remember, after I look at your thumbnails, feel free to send me your workup sketches or your digital art or your like final PDF if you want me to look it over again before you turn it in. I'll try and check my email over the weekend at some point. But yeah, definitely, up to Friday and then Monday as well before the project's due. Yeah, Regan. Yeah, for those thumbnail sketches, they should be rough and they should be simple, just basically planning out that composition. For this project, we added that workup sketch as the in-between step from thumbnail, workup, then final art. So that workup sketch is where you'll spend more time. You'll kind of make the drawing look good. You'll refine the design and add value. Yep, and it all still has to be in one PDF. So yeah, again, for this class, I want to see that creative process and see how you guys work going from like an idea in your head to that rough sketch to a more refined sketch to final digital art. So yeah, all of that work will be included in the PDF, thumbnail, workup sketch, and final art, just so I can see that evolution of your work and how you kind of problem solved and made decisions and how you go from pencil to digital art and things like that. And hopefully each step, your work will get better and better. You don't want to have like these really, really nice, beautiful thumbnails, but then your final art is lacking a lot and not really looking finished. So each step, your work should get better. The composition should get better. Your mood should get clearer. Your value contrast should get better and things like that. But yeah, in the thumbnails, you probably won't have a lot of values, maybe just like indicating where the darkest value is or where the lightest value is. And the basic shapes, but yeah, not a lot of details on those thumbnails. And that is so you can check the grade breakdown for the project. So like your workup sketches are worth a percentage of the grade, the thumbnail sketches are a percentage of the grade and things like that. Okay, any other general questions on the project? Coming up due on Monday, I believe. Yep, due on Monday. Okay, well, if you guys think of anything while we're talking today, yeah, let me know. Okay, so for today, I just want to give a very quick kind of some tips on things to avoid for your projects. They're just kind of common things I see with a lot of different students' work. So I'm just going to address them all at once to just way to strengthen and making your work better and get, kind of milk every point out of this project that you can. And then we'll just look at some student examples from other quarters. Oh, and the template file. So here's our project. So section 3 mood. Has anyone downloaded this, the project 3 template yet by chance? Has anyone turned that in or download the template file by chance yet? I just downloaded it. I think it's working okay. I know the one for project 2 got corrupt or messed up for some reason. But I think this one should be okay. If anyone has an issue downloading this, when they like open it up, just let me know and I'll put it up here again. I'll also try to send it around to just an email to you guys tomorrow or something too. So you have multiple copies of it. But there that is. Student moods, JPEG. This is just some student examples if you want to look at that after we look at it together today. And then Andrew Steer's project 03, this is my version of the project. So if you just kind of want to look at a full PDF version of the project, say, oh, where do I, put my thumbnails? Where do I put this? Where do I put that? Feel free to download and look at this, this project, okay? Okay, things to avoid. So these are just typical things I see a lot in people's work. Let me just pull up Illustrator. I made a few examples here. Oops. Oh, here's the template file. Yeah, this one looks good. We'll talk about that in a sec. So these are 2 things I see a lot that I want you guys to avoid. What is this shape right here and how did I make this? You guys recognize that one? So this is just the standard star tool shape, okay? It's a fine shape, it's okay. But it's not a very unique shape. Basically, since it's there and it's a stock shape from Adobe Illustrator, it's just kind of, it's there, it's fine, it's a standard star. But I would prefer, if you're gonna have, stars twinkling in the night sky for one of your scenes, or, if you want the star to be the focal point, especially things like that, just design your own star shape, okay? So it could be very simple and it's not going to take a lot of time, but just designing something that's unique and different than what the standard shape is. So you could go with your standard kind of 5-point star here. And then you can always come back with your direct selection tool, adjust this to exactly how you may want it to work for your scene, okay? So maybe you do that. Maybe you have one with some curves in it. If you're doing a different feel for that scene. Oops. Whatever it may be. So just try to make those shapes unique. Remember, make them something. So it's just showing me that you're going that little extra bit of effort to design something unique for just for a scene or whatever it may be. And it'll just make your work stand out a little bit more. And really designing those stars are not hard to do. So that's what's kind of nice about it. And if you're doing like a starry sky, which some of you may be doing. So here, let's pretend this is my sky. Let's make this white. So maybe if you're doing stars from a really far distance, you don't really need to make that like star shape thing. Just do little dots. So I'm just going to design 3 different kind of dot shapes. And then you can just come in here, start copying and pasting. So I just selected all of these. They're on their own layer here on layer 2. That's just my stars. So select them all and then hit Control-C, Control-V. So now we got multiple star shapes there. And I can select these all 3 of those, Control-C, Control-V. Now I got way more stars. And we go Control-C, Control-V, and I got even more stars. And select a chunk of this, Control-C, Control-V. So now I've just kind of populated this little star scene here. And it's going to look a lot more unique than just using that star shape there. So think about what will work best for your given scene, what will work best for your given mood. You know, something with curves on it might work better for a friendly mood, more angular might work for a different mood. But then too, once you have this one figured out, then you can always adjust the opacity too. If you don't want the stars to stand out quite so much. So I'm just selecting all the stars, bringing up this opacity panel here, or the transparency panel, I believe, and adjusting it that way. Okay. So that's the star shape thing to avoid. Okay, this is the other thing I would like you to avoid. Stick people, standard stick people, okay? Especially if this is your focal point, you want that focal point to be a unique, interesting shape. So hopefully you can design something. Let's just go over to back to Photoshop. So rather than this guy that I've seen a whole bunch on people's art throughout the year, well, it's very easy and doesn't take a lot of time to design a shape like this. It's also very boring, very unique, not that original. So just take a little bit of time. Think about what sort of silhouette do you want this person to have? I usually ask myself questions about this. You know, how old are they? What are they doing? What are they wearing? Are they walking? Are they sitting? Are they standing? Are they running? Are they jumping? Maybe we can make this person running too. So, and notice here, I'm still trying to keep it simple, okay? Maybe we just adding a hair or hat is a good way to make it a unique shape too. So all of you guys can draw this. It has nothing to do with how good you are at drawing. Just take that extra, you know, couple minutes and design a more unique shape. So you could do that just by like making these shapes longer and extending it. Just by changing the direction of the arms too gives a lot. We'll give this guy a hat here. So just something like that, that's a little more interesting. So try and avoid that standard stick guy and think of something more unique. Doesn't have to be more complicated or slightly more complicated, but it has to be just a little something different than that standard stick guy that we've all drawn our entire life. Okay, one other quick one. How many of you guys have done this drawing before? Who's drawn the sun that way before? Ever in your life? Try to avoid this sun. This is a standard sun we have seen. We've all seen and drawn since we were little kids. Okay. So oftentimes just a simple circle can work for a sun or moon. You can make it a little bit wavy. Maybe put like a texture line around it if you're an illustrator. If you want to do it more realistic, you can like look up photographs of the sun and kind of see what the sun actually looks like. So this depends on your style and what you're going for. There's a few cases where you can use this style of sun. What mood might this sun work well for the mood project? Yeah, it might work for that friendly kid style mood. Exactly. So that's if you have a legitimate reason or a design purpose for using that sort of sun, then yeah, that can work. But don't just throw that sun in because that's all you came up with and you're not spending the time to, design something more unique. You might also be able to do something similar for like a glory mood, perhaps. Like let's say we have our champion here. So maybe you use it with something like this as well. But here I'm still not just doing it like, sticking the sun in the corner and doing the lines. I'm going to extend these glory lines all the way out to the edge. Okay, so there can be a reason or a use for that sun, but for the most part, I would suggest trying to design a more unique shape or a more unique silhouette for that sun. Oops. So a couple more things on this really quick. Okay. The placement of focal point. How do I want to say this? Don't put the focal point in the corner or on edge. Avoid the edge. So we got your composition. I still will occasionally see people, let's say you just want a walking guy to be your focal point. Walking guy, walking along. Let's make it a unique shape, maybe give him a backpack. Okay. So just do not put this person along the bottom edge of that composition. It's going to look really awkward, one, because now this person's like walking on the bottom edge here, like that's a surface. That's just the edge of our composition. That's not a real like part of the scene. Also, avoid putting it right there in the corner. Okay. Even if you have like all this other stuff going on, it's going to look really cramped. Look, it looks like the silhouette person's like squishing down or about to hit their head there. So again, that's just what we have that rule of thirds for, is to help you guys place those focal points, keep them away from the edge. So if you're still not quite confident with that rule of thirds or symmetrical composition, still put it, sketch that in there very lightly when you're working on your thumbnails. So there, now we put the focal point there. It will create a much more pleasing composition here. Whatever you're trying to come up with. Okay. So avoid the edges. Nothing important should be anywhere along the edge of this composition. And this is something you should start to see and catch in your thumbnail. So that's kind of one reason why I may choose one thumbnail or another. All right. And then the last one, I'll just delete this guy, we don't need him anymore, is do not overuse gradients. So I think the tutorial I gave you guys this week showed how to use gradients. Kind of avoid this thing here. I know gradients are like, they're kind of cool and it's a unique feature for Illustrator, but they can also be very visually distracting. So if you have like your sun with just this random gradient on it, or some shape in the background with a random gradient on it, it's going to kind of just draw the attention way too much. And for the most part, just kind of avoid gradients unless you're using them in a very subtle way and kind of only in 1 or 2 spots. Like you don't want like 5, 6 shapes with gradients on them throughout your composition. It's going to get distracting and just going to kind of become visually, messy and busy with that. Because this one shape has the full range of values in it. It goes from solid black to pure white within one shape. So that sort of value range will catch the eye. And again, it's just kind of something to avoid. We're trying to simplify and make really good design shapes with very carefully placed values. And when you come into one shape and use every single value on one shape, that's going to kind of take away from hopefully the good value pattern you have planned out in your composition. Okay. Any questions on any of this stuff I've gone over so far? All right. And then when you are looking at this template here, okay. So most of you guys do this, but just in case, make sure you're putting your name on each one of these pages. I know it's a little annoying, but it's just a good professional look for your thing. And where it says your mood, make sure you come in with whatever mood this you're showing here and put calm, calm final art, calm thumbnails, calm workup sketch, things like that. And if you're not using all of these boards, I'm pretty sure you will for this project. But if you have any blank artboards, just remember this artboard panel. It's right here or under window artboards. Okay. And you can delete any extra artboards that you don't need. Okay. So don't turn in a PDF with blank artboards. Make sure all the fonts are the same. So I mentioned it here in this little thing, but you want the font here to be the same size and same font. Mirrored Pro 12 there. I thought it was Arial, maybe not. Okay, yeah, Mirrored Pro 12. So just make sure the font here is the same as the font for the headers. And as you're putting your artwork in here, just make sure your artwork fills up the artboard. Don't like put a tiny little don't like put your artwork like randomly over here just in the corner. Like make sure your artwork fits in here nicely. It takes up. You also don't want it like going right to the edge either. So just make sure it fits in there nicely. It's easy to see, displayed large. So even if you have some horizontal artwork, make sure it's displayed about like that. If this one was a vertical piece of artwork, it can be displayed about like that. Okay. It's just gonna make it easier for me to see. It's gonna look nicer overall. And all of this stuff like font matching and naming stuff and labeling your name on the headers, that is all part of your presentation grade, which is very important as artists. I've seen, people make really, really nice, good, amazing art, but their presentation is not good. So it just was gonna knock it down. So it's better to have good art and good presentation rather than great art and horrible presentation, if that makes sense. Okay, any questions on any of that? Project 3 in general? Okay. Well, I have some student samples here to show you guys. 1 second, and I will pull this up. All right. So this is Anna's. I think this is just from last quarter. It might be. So yeah, this project came out well. So here Anna put all her thumbnails on one page. That's fine to do if you want to do it that way. Just make sure you label. So she does have it labeled here, calm, size. That got cut off a little, but that's okay. Childlike. So if you put them all on one page, make sure you label that with what I'm looking at. So since the point of this project is to clearly illustrate those moods, I want to see what mood you're trying to achieve. And then here's her workup sketches. So this is really good because it has those values in there. You see the darkest value on the focal point, medium value here, and light value in the sky. Again, same idea. Here's her kid one. Good use of value contrast, light shape of this very, very rounded, nice frog against the dark shape of the lily pad. Nice curves here, the use of pattern. And then size, the small little worm compared to the books. And here's the final digital art. Teeny tiny focal point, horizontal shapes, negative space in the sky. The white snow becomes negative shape and empty. She's not filling that up with extra stuff. Really nice pattern here for the childlike one. Great shape for this frog. Doesn't look anything like a real frog, but that is fine. She designed this very unique rounded shape, which is cool. And then all these leaves are leading lines, pattern on the leaves, pattern in the water. And then the size, so very small worm compared to the size of these books. But here, she went for light value against the dark background. And then nice, all this is lined up here on the edge very nicely. So really good presentation and all of that. Okay, so that was a really nice one. Let's look at a couple others. This is Rebecca Larson's. This is from a few quarters ago. So scary thumbnails, just capitalized. That's all I would say on that one. Workup sketch. So you see here, I think her thumbnails are done in pencil. Then she used some marker for the workup sketch. So that that can be a good way to do it if you'd like to do that. You see how rough this thumbnail is here, where it's just kind of planning out the composition. It's not finalized, not perfect. Now here, she really defined where the values will go, how the shapes will all look. So remember, all your thinking and planning should be done on the workup sketch. Then when you work on the final art, it's just finalizing that idea and making it look nice, which will hopefully help. But nice creepy artwork there. Busy thumbnails, busy workup sketch. Again, she moved to marker for this. And there is the busy final art. So really nice final art. Chaotic, busy, a lot of stuff going on. And then that written reflection. Jasmine's. So same idea here. Just that evolution of idea. There's the childlike final art. Now here's a nice version of that sun that we were just talking about. So it's similar to that standard basic sun that everyone's draws, but all she did was change it and make each one of these rays skinny little triangles. So I thought that was a really nice choice to have a similar, very similar design to that sun we talked about, but different enough where it becomes unique. Good use of pattern, good value contrast on the focal point. Good, weird, elongated, dark shapes. Nice use of the calm final art. I might have just told her to make this sky a little bit bigger, and she could have even deleted some of these clouds just to make that sky completely empty. But nice, good focal point shape, and then the written reflection. Okay, and make sure you always open up your PDF before you submit it. What's this one? Oh, Kiara's. Same idea. Calm final art, small focal point, big negative space. Here's some scary ones. So really cool angular shapes for that castle, for the bats, for the trees, for the hills. Good use of dark values there, dark shapes. This is friendly, I believe. Oh no, size contrast. So this one's really cool. Giant squid, tiny little submarine there. So this one kind of has a friendly style to it, but it's still using size contrast. So like, as I said, a lot of times your moods will blend together in different ways. And that's completely fine. And that will happen, but I am seeing size here in this one. Alice, that's a good question. Is it better to do each one in order? So doing mood, thumbnail, or like calm thumbnails, calm workup sketch, calm final art, or all thumbnails, all workup sketch, all final art? I'll kind of let you guys decide. Either one of those ways should be fine. On the template, how's it laid out? Template is laid out thumbnails, workup sketch. Workups. It's laid out thumbnails, workup sketch, final art for each mood. So as long as I can clearly see and each one is labeled, what mood you're doing and what step of the process it is. And as long as it's kind of goes thumbnail, workup sketch, final art, I'm not too particular about that. If that makes sense, Alice. Cool. But yeah, so that's pretty much it for today. Workup sketch is in the videos. I don't believe I have a workup sketch video. Would that be helpful would anyone like a short video on how to kind of draw those workup sketches? I can make a quick one if need be. Okay, cool. I'll try and work that up later today. And I'll just add that to the to one of the playlists, probably the tutorials playlist. All right, guys. So yeah, there are some more student examples on Canvas if you want to look at some more while you're working. Let me just remind you where that is. So yeah, they're just right here. Student moods right here, and my project is an example if you want more stuff, just to kind of help you get that all figured out. But that'll be it for today. Get those thumbnails turned in later today. I'm going to be grading those and giving you feedback today and tomorrow, so look out for that. Let me know if any other questions come up as you work, but other than that, I'll see you guys in a week. Good luck finishing these projects off. I look forward to seeing how they come out.